The 2024 Paris Olympics are finally here, a showcase of top worldwide athletic talent all gathered together in Paris, one of the most romantic cities in the world, home to the Louvre, the Eiffel Tower, the Seine, aka the Poop River. That's right, the Poop River, a river literally so known for being full of sewage and poop, it's literally illegal to swim in it. But for some reason, Olympic organizers have decided to have Olympic athletes swim in it this year. Why? Well, we're gonna talk about it because, oh, I have thoughts. Now, if you're not super familiar with the Seine, you might be thinking, hey, what's the big deal? It's just a river. But if you were paying any attention during the first 10 seconds of this video, you probably remember I called it a poop river. Yes, a poop river. Now, the Seine has a very long history of being filthy. Like many old cities around the world, Paris has a combined sewer system, which means wastewater and stormwater flow through the same pipes. Those pipes can reach capacity when it rains long and hard, meaning raw wastewater like sewage flows into the Seine instead of a treatment plant. This has obviously made the Seine just a cesspool of literal sewage, and the water is so disgusting and unclean that for the past 100 years, it's actually been illegal to swim in the Seine. Fully illegal. Like, no swimming in the Seine whatsoever. Now, thankfully, Paris didn't just attempt to throw these athletes into the river without trying to clean it first. Back in 2015, Paris actually did begin adding more infrastructure to the city to begin capturing some of that excess rainwater in an attempt to stop sewage from backing into the Seine. And they've actually ended up spending around 1.4 billion euros on this project so far. Now the question is, did all of that actually end up cleaning the Seine at all? Well, a little bit, but not really. So the Seine is a little bit cleaner now than it used to be, but it's still not exactly the cleanest river. Not a river that I would be comfortable swimming in. Back between June 17th and June 23rd, samples of water from the Seine were actually tested, and the results came back that the Seine had 10 times the amount of E. coli present in the water than what is considered safe to swim in. It's not great. That's not great at all. Now, up to the point of me filming this video, Paris officials are still saying that the water of the Seine is going to be clean enough for the Olympic athletes to swim in by the time those events roll around. So much so that Paris officials have decided to take a dip in the Seine themselves to prove how clean it is. Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo originally planned on taking her swim in the Seine on June 23rd, but that did not go according to plan considering the citizens of Paris got a little bit fed up. Parisians who were fed up with the amount of money being spent on the Olympics encouraged people to poop in the river before the politicians took the plunge. Some declared their allegiance to the cause under the hashtag Je chie dans la Seine le 23 juin, which translates to I shit in the Seine on June 23rd. That's right, I took a shit in the Seine on June 23rd, and you'll never guess what they did on June 23rd. Now, we don't know exactly how many people actually ended up literally pooping in the Seine this day, or if people actually did do it. I have to imagine some people somewhere actually did literally poop in the Seine this day. The goal of this poop protest was basically to protest the amount of money which was spent on cleaning up the Seine, which has seemingly gone to waste at this point. Not only were there hashtags for this protest, but apparently there was also a website that people in France could go to, and they could use a tracker to plan when they would have to poop in the river for their poop to float down the river and meet the mayor during the time of her swim. That is very gross, but hey, it's very dedicated to the cause, and so I gotta give it to him for that. Now, Mayor Hidalgo did not end up going for her swim on June 23rd as originally planned, and we don't know for sure whether or not it was because of this whole poop protest or whether it was because of other circumstances. In the end, she did actually go swimming in the Seine on July 17th, and she even called her swim in the river exquisite. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know that I would call that water exquisite. It's a little brown, like really brown. And I've heard it smells bad. I don't know, I've never been to Paris myself, but I've heard that it smells Now, personally, I don't think the mayor taking a dip in the Seine really proves that the river is clean. I think she probably felt pressure to go swimming in the river as a way to try to prove to the people that it's clean just because of the amount of money that has been spent on this project. And if it wasn't clean enough for the athletes or her to go swimming in, it would really just prove that that 1.4 billion euros had gone to waste, which obviously is really unfortunate. Also, can I just point out again how gross this water looks? Like, even if this water was guaranteed to be safe from harmful bacteria, I don't know that I would want to go swimming in it. I don't know. Doesn't look great. Now, why did Paris even go through all this effort to try to clean the Seine to have it used for the Olympics? Sure, having a clean river can be really nice for a city, but I'm sure there are a lot more things that 1.4 billion euros could have gone towards that would have been a lot more impactful to the overall city of Paris and the people that live there. And given the whole poop protest, it sure doesn't seem like the people of Paris really care or want the river cleaned. Personally, I think the cleaning of the Seine seems very sensationalist to me. To me, it really seems like Paris officials who decided to use the Seine as the venue for these sporting events decided it because they wanted to flaunt Paris's infrastructure and because it would look cool and make a good show, especially on a world stage such as the Olympics. But it also seems like when they decided to use the Seine that they really just didn't fully take into account how difficult it was going to be to clean the Seine and make it safe to swim in. That, or they also just didn't really take into account the safety of the athletes who would have to swim in it. Now, another reason why I do think Paris officials decided to use the Seine for the marathon swim and the triathlon is because this would actually not be the first time that the Seine was used in the Olympics. Back in the 1900 Olympics that took place in Paris, they actually used the Seine for the rowing, swimming, and water polo events. Paris actually then hosted the Summer Olympics again in 1924, but in that year they were not able to use the Seine for any sort of events because it was only the year prior in 1923 that swimming in the Seine was banned because of how filthy the water was. Now here we are exactly 100 years after the last time Paris held the Summer Olympics, and officials want to put the athletes back in the Seine. So what's going to happen when it comes time for both the triathlon and the marathon swim and the water is deemed unsafe to swim in? Well, Paris actually does have a backup plan for both of those events. If they end up not being able to use the Seine, they are going to turn the triathlon into a duathlon, completely removing the swimming elements of the competition and having it only focus on the biking and running components. The marathon swim will still happen, it will just be at a different location, and I'm going to absolutely butcher this name. I took French classes for like literally 10 years in school growing up, but I don't know if they paid off very well. But the marathon swim will be happening at Vers-sur-Marne Nautical Stadium, which is just outside of Paris, and it is actually already set up to host the rowing and canoeing competitions, and they can set it up to host the marathon swim if they need it. Now, currently, as of recording this video, both the triathlon and the marathon swim are still set to happen in the Seine. The first training session for athletes who were supposed to be swimming in the Seine was supposed to happen on Sunday, July 28th, but it actually had to be canceled due to the water quality still not being very good due to recent raining in Paris. Right now, in my opinion, it is really looking like they are going to have to opt to go into their backup plans. That, or if it rains anymore in Paris, they're going to have to go ahead and postpone the races by a couple of days in the hopes that the water can clear up. In my opinion, it just seems like it was really bold for Paris officials to try to clean the river for the Olympics, especially with having spent over 1.4 billion euros to try to clean the water, only for the water to not be able to be guaranteed clean. It's really disappointing. And I really cannot blame the people of Paris for being upset about this. I'm sure there were so many better ways that 1.4 billion euros could have been used that would have had a better overall impact on the people of Paris instead of having the Olympics maybe take place in the Seine. And also, obviously, I'm not any kind of Olympic swimming event expert by any means, but I feel like we probably could have found better alternatives to swimming in the Seine in the first place. I mean, the surfing competitions are literally happening all the way in Tahiti, which is technically in French Polynesia, so it kind of makes sense. So like, there had to have been other places that they could have done these competitions where the water would have been guaranteed safe. If you were an athlete, would you be okay with competing in the Seine? Or heck, even if you were just in Paris on a hot summer day and the river was open for everyone to swim in, would you want to take a swim in the Seine? Personally, I don't think I would want to, given everything I now know about the Seine and its history of having sewage and E. coli and literal poop in the river, but maybe that's just me. But let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Also, if you didn't already know, I do stream over on Twitch 4 days a week. We play a lot of video games, we hang out, we chat, we overall have a really good time over there. So if you want to come and hang out live sometime, join us over on Twitch and drop me a follow over there, and join Twitch chat, and we can hang out and chit chat about whatever wacky stuff we're talking about that day. But yeah, all the information for that will be in the description below, and I, as always, will see you in my next video. Bye!